Welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to cover what teams you should look to rebuild in college football 26. I made this list based off of storylines you could make within the game this year, like teams that are former powerhouses looking for someone to revive their brand, or teams that may be hidden gems that are primed for a big blow up if the right coach takes the helm. If you are looking for the hardest rebuilds, don't worry, we will have that video ready to go on launch day, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, and make sure you save this video for later so you can look back when the game comes out. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and let's get right into it. Obviously, the first category is going to be the small schools. We all love to grow into powerhouses. With two new additions this year in Delaware and Missouri State, those are going to be some of the most popular picks, but I always have a few favorites I lean towards enter my first or second playthrough with the new teams. The first is UTEP. With the color scheme of orange and navy, along with the Sun Bowl being their home stadium, they always make for a good rebuild. The Miners are also located in a recruiting hotbed as well, and with the revised recruiting having more emphasis on playing time, you may be able to steal a few top players every once in a while until you make yourself a powerhouse. Another one of my favorites are the Bulls of Buffalo. Being located in one of the most northern spots in the FBS, having a routine snow game is always a highlight of the season. Along with their nice combo of colors, they always make it into my rebuilds list every single year. And to keep these sections brief, I will give 3 schools per category, so be sure to comment any I missed for the others in the community. Lastly, New Mexico was an amazing rebuild for me last year. The Lobos have some awesome alternatives. They may get into the game this year, and with dynamic lighting, their scenery around the stadium will be better than ever. While a lot of these schools could fit in multiple categories, I try to keep it to one team per list. And the first team of the former powerhouses that I could bring back are the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Having their title drought come up on the 30th anniversary, bringing them back to the forefront of college football world may be no easy task, especially since they have been unable to win the Big Ten since joining and only got close in 2012 when they got blown out by 39 points. With big names like Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, and OJ Simpson, the Trojans have a ton of history within their walls, but as they continue their 20-plus year drought of a title, but after going back-to-back, they need some dire help. With the failed rebuild after rebuild, they could see another if they don't turn it around soon. And lastly, we have BYU. Some of you may not consider the Cougars a former powerhouse, but after winning a title in 1983 and dominating most of the previous decade, they definitely do make it in my opinion. But the tall task is still ahead of them as they join the Big 12. And can you bring back one of the most prolific quarterback used to the forefront of the college game? Next up, we have the teams that in my opinion could be the next big thing. Penn State has been there for over a decade, but can't seem to get over the hump, losing to teams like OSU, Michigan, and more recently Oregon, and they need a little help. And a more recent entry to this group would be the Rebels of Ole Miss. Since acquiring Lane Kiffin after some failed attempts at Tennessee and USC, he has made Ole Miss a scary team to face later in the season, and especially if they make it to the playoffs. But getting there has proven a lot harder than they imagined. As the next team of this group, Oregon has been there and then they weren't, but they're back again. And after pulling off the great upset in the regular season over the Buckeyes got the last laugh and got the big win over them in the playoffs. And lastly, Tennessee is another team in this category. Tennessee could realistically fit in most of these categories, but after losing their star freshman quarterback to the West Coast, they still have enough firepower in the tank to make it back to the playoffs this year. In this next section, I have the teams that have been good at the beginning of the decade, but have slipped a little bit and have seen a sharp decline as of late. Teams like Florida, Oklahoma, and Clemson have all been in contention for a title in recent memory, but these past few years have been harsh on them. With all 3 of these teams having massive wins late in the year, the morale is super high for you all to make a comeback if you take the helm of one of these teams. And probably my favorite section out of the bunch are the hidden gems. These teams may have had recent success, but are overlooked as a top landing spots, and the first team on this list is going to be Illinois. As the biggest school in the state, they should be able to pull a ton of top talent from a football-focused Midwest area, but they haven't been able to do that en masse in recent years. Next up is the oddball of the SEC. The Tigers of Mizzou have had a great rise over the last few years, but haven't quite made a dent into the FBS timeline. With a great base and good recruiting locations close, they may be primed for a coach like you to take them to the very top. And lastly, you have Arizona State here. Of course, they went to the college football playoff last year and they almost beat Texas, but they haven't got the media attention that I thought they would, especially coming into this season. with a chance to repeat in the Big 12 and go back to the playoffs for the second year in a row, they are by far one of the biggest diamonds in the rough. In the second to last section, I wanted to show some love to the G5. With the guaranteed spot on the line to the college football playoffs, these teams have a lot to play for. The best of the best, in my opinion, are the Memphis Tigers, the Green Waves of Tulane, and Boise State. All three of these teams were in it until the end last year, as Boise State was able to walk away after they won their conference championship and make it into the playoffs. Most experts think all three of these teams could have possible down years coming into this season, but if you want to take the helm there, you could stop that and get them back in the playoffs and possibly win a title in the next few seasons. Lastly, I wanted to give a shout out to our NIL merchants coming into this year. With the focus going more into NIL in the real world and in the game, these teams should be fun to play with, as these teams will spin big and buy you your next roster year after year. The first on this list is also a former powerhouse, but they got the death penalty for paying players back in the day, and now that is legal, we can expect them to be on the rise to the top once again, and that team is SMU Mustangs. Second on this list is another Texas team who just hired a former alumni who's an oil tycoon to run the whole school, and that is the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Just to put it in perspective, they paid their starting softball pitcher over $1 million this year. And that's softball, that's not football, so I'm blown away by what some of these NIL deals could be. The last team is on the East Coast, and that is Miami. Although they don't have oil money backing them, they seem to spend a ton of money year in and year out on transfer portal talent to make their team good once again. With a top talent like Carson Beck, who everybody thought was going to be a Heisman hopeful last year, they could be a really good team to play with. And with that, that is our video on some of the best teams to rebuild coming into college football 25. Let me know who you all think I missed, or any teams that you think could fit in these categories. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
And a huge shout out to Chris, our very first premium channel member. Thanks for all your support, man. It's really appreciated.